Stop telling me it's an alpha. That is today's soapbox topics, because I get this a lot. I post a lot on the forums, I give a lot of feedback, and every time I give feedback on something, somebody pops up and goes, what did you expect? It's an alpha. Or shut up about it. It's an alpha. Or they shouldn't be balancing the game. It's an alpha. You get that constantly. It's an alpha. It's an alpha. It's an alpha. This really annoys me. First of all, I know it's an alpha. I've been around for a couple years now. Second, this isn't my first alpha. I've actually participated in both closed alphas as a closed group of QA testers, and I've participated in open alphas before. So, not surprised. It's an alpha. But in an alpha, you're supposed to give feedback. Like, if something's not working, or if something doesn't fit a design direction, or if it's bugged, or whatever, you're supposed to give feedback on it. So you can't tell people who are giving feedback it's an alpha. They're doing it right. If all you're doing during an alpha is reminding people that it's an alpha, you're doing it wrong. You're doing it totally wrong. So yeah, and people keep telling me that all the time, so it drives me nuts. The other thing is, and this is, so that's credit to CIG. So credit to CIG. This definitely is an alpha, and people do have a lot of high expectations for it. They think that this game should be really polished and very complete. And keep in mind, what an alpha means is a game where content is still being added, and it's very hard to balance content while it's being added. Typically, most games don't even bother. They wait till beta, which basically means all the content is mostly in. Then they start balancing. However, Star Citizen is an open alpha, which means that the backers are playing the game as they're adding the content. So the game has to be kind of playable, or at least somewhat playable. So the standards for an open alpha are a little higher than the standards for a closed alpha. The standards by which we play at, basically. But the standards for a closed alpha, or open alpha rather, are always lower than an open beta, and they're always lower than a released game. So always temper your standards based on that. Don't be so worried about balance, but still talk about balance. Still post about it, because you want the game to be playable. You want what we have to be fun. And if they put out a weapon that's uber apocalypse weapon that kills everybody in one shot, makes the game not fun. So they do have to do a little bit of balance during this particular phase. And I give feedback based on that. So if somebody releases apocalypse weapon that kills everything, I say, hey, this apocalypse weapon might need to be toned down a little bit. And I hear someone goes, we don't need to worry about that. It's an alpha. Like, yeah, but we're supposed to be playing this alpha, and it needs to be somewhat playable. And what's the point of an alpha if you're not going to give feedback? So even though you hear this a lot, and you're going to hear this a lot, anybody who's posting feedback, whether you're posting this on Reddit, or posting this on the Star Citizen forums, or talking about it in chat roll, or wherever you go to talk about this game, don't be discouraged by the people who are constantly posting, shut up about it, it's an alpha. Just ignore them. They're doing it wrong. You're doing it right. Keep your feedback tempered, keep it clear, and make sure everyone understands what you're trying to convey, what issue you're trying to convey. And ignore all of the people who are going, it's an alpha, shut up, because you're going to hear that from a lot of people in Star Citizen. That's all. That's all for today's soapbox. Any questions? Let me catch up on chat. I was going on for a little there. Yeah, my last soapbox is actually on YouTube, so I did put up, and I will highlight these and put these up on YouTube when I'm finished with them.